Alright, what's up, everybody? We're here with what was supposed to be the first episode in this series. Today, we're going to be actually continuing. Well, if you haven't heard it yet, I guess this is your first one, but this is the paranormal states, basically all 50 states, going in and learning a few things about each state as far as paranormal activity goes. You got your UFOs, haunted houses, um, historical places, cryptids, that kind of thing. And that's more or less what this series is going to be. I am going to tackle all 50 states. I think I have two up right now. I've got this one and a couple more written and ready to go. So we're heading, straight into this. So it should be a fun little thing to learn. Like I said, we're going to be doing things like UFO, ghost stories, legends, cryptids, all that stuff. Um, North Carolina is my home state, so this one is a little personal. I don't know why I didn't send it to myself the other week and ended up doing the other ones first, but that is what it is. So we'll jump right in. First off, as always, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Getting a lot of love on the podcast so far. Please check us out on Facebook. You can search the Last Wave Podcast. Same 8-bit bearded guy picture. I'm going to try to start putting the link to the Facebook page in the description. Really focused on that this week, throwing up some articles, some pictures regarding some of the things we've already talked about on the podcast. So, going to try to get a lot of cool stuff on there for you. So, feel free to check that out. Throw a like on it. I'll invite you to follow it, all that good social media stuff. All right, so we'll jump right into this one. North Carolina is actually in the top 10 states for UFO sightings. A few stories popped up this year and last year. One of the coolest pictures snapped this year was near Kings Mountain, North Carolina. It showed multiple pictures of a rectangular craft with what appeared to be lights around the edge. Really impressive pictures. I'll try to find them and post them either in the description or on the Facebook page. Really, something you don't see. You see the triangle crafts, the saucers, but this one is literally, it just looks like a huge rectangle with LED lights around one edge. It was really cool pictures. Honestly, another one that popped up in 2018 was in Greensboro. This video captured an object in the sky that was pulsing and flashing. Those are just a few recent ones as far as the year in this previous year. And there's a bunch more throughout the state's history. Honestly, I had no idea we were even in the top 10. So we all get to learn something today. I think I may have mentioned this on my other videos for the paranormal states. For some reason, the first couple states I picked, definitely unknowingly, were all in the top 10, if not top 5, for UFO sightings. North Carolina is, I don't know, I guess it's mainly just because it's such a diverse state. You've got your mountains, your fields, your ocean, your lakes, you got everything. So plenty of places for something to hide or some alien tourists to check out, I suppose. Also, a couple military bases, possibly some secretive military bases off in the mountains. Working on this kind of stuff as well. So that opens up all kinds of doors for that kind of stuff. From Greensboro to the area between Hickory and Mooresville, around Lake Norman. People do not know this, but it has its very own lake monster, or monsters for that matter, honestly. Normie is actually the name of it for Lake Norman. Honestly, not the greatest name. I mean, it's not Nessie or anything. But it is adorably adapted to, become a local hero. It actually started as a legit monster in Lake Norman. There have been sightings for years, going back for, I don't know, I found quite a few, probably 50 years or so, of just different sightings of this creature or different creatures. It's, kind of up in the air on that. There have been sightings for years. The Lake Norman Monster website is actually available if you want to check into any of those. I actually submitted a sighting years ago, so this one does hold a special place for me, as far as, cool stuff that's happened as far as paranormal. And I'll go ahead and recount that story because it is pretty dope. My sighting took place actually near Claremont, which is around the Hickory area, just off a bridge that, a bridge passing over the water. It's a pretty large bridge, not, way too high to jump off of, but um, my sighting took place at that bridge, or basically underneath it, somewhere where we're not supposed to go. So we basically use that area for swimming and hanging out. Um, and it's where I basically just ran into something huge in the water. I chose to walk down to the water one day by myself just to relax. I don't remember why. Honestly, it was in my youth, or more youth than I am now. There's a really nice little cove. It's basically just like a little alcove with water. It's barely 2 to 3 feet deep, about 20 feet or so wide. It's just a really nice little place to kind of wade in the water. Great spot. Anyway, as I'm walking along, I get within about 10 feet of the water, and the whole entire cove just like erupts, splashing everywhere, thrashing. I'm a big dude, and it froze me solid. I mean, it was really really freaky. What I would say it kind of seemed like was when you drop, like if you feed piranhas, and for like 5 seconds there's just a massive frenzy. It was like that, but on a huge scale, like big enough to fill the entire cove. Like if the whole cove was just full of piranha and they just all reacted at the same exact time. Uh, Now, the lake, as far as is known, only has small fish and really large catfish. Nothing that really gathers in large schools like that. So it was either a freak event of a ton of small fish, or a large and incredibly long creature, kind of wrapped up into the cove, resting, what have you. Um, yeah, I'll never forget that. Like I said, I'm a pretty solid guy, and that you don't just walk up on that and then like a whole 20-foot section of water just erupts like it's somebody dropped TNT into it. So I never saw anything. That's the one part that sucked. All I saw was the thrashing of the water. So I never did get to see an actual creature. One possible explanation for some of these sightings, I don't know if it's an explanation for mine, but especially near the hydroelectric dam at our I mean, it's fairly explainable, but anyway, the area is known for large catfish, like real large, like hundreds of pounds. I've seen some in pictures of people fishing, and they can get pretty monstrous. One story I did hear in my teen years, in the Charlotte area from a friend of mine. His dad worked for the power plant on Lake Norman, and they service the power plant under the water as well as the dam and the structures having to do with that. So basically, he stated that the repair divers for the dam and for the plant just quit one day. They just up, left, said they're done. They reported seeing fish or catfish big enough to eat a man. That shook them enough to leave an extremely well paying job. That, plus my experience, plus all the other sightings, leads me to believe there's definitely something abnormal about the lake. There's got to be, something in there for all these people to be seeing stuff. And a lot of the sightings, you refer to a sturgeon-like creature, slightly elongated fish, maybe a serpentine creature. And there's no big snakes within the area at all. I mean, you got some black snakes and stuff that are 3 or 4 feet, but they're very thin, obviously. Another interesting item in the state is something called the Brown Mountain Lights. That's just a little west of Hickory in the Morganton area. These ghostly lights moving along the side of Brown Mountain between Morganton and Linville were recorded as far back as 1913, when a fisherman, actually on one of the small lakes, spotted the lights. Basically, there is a video that I found that was really, really cool. It's got to be a recent video. Don't remember seeing the year on it, but it basically shows these little lights popping up on the side of the mountain from white to red to yellow. Just different colors. It was really, really cool. It's a very good video. I was actually quite surprised. Usually you don't get that kind of decent footage, especially at night. There are a ton of people interested in it. There's books, a website, all kinds of articles. I found them to be pretty crazy, and it's a goal of mine to get out there eventually and check them out for myself. The theories surrounding them are all over the place, honestly. From ghost lights carried by murdered Native Americans, which Western NC is where the Cherokee Trail of Tears began, so that is plausible. There are of course those who say they're just misinterpreted headlights or hikers and that kind of thing. Also, some people mention the idea of what resemble the phenomenon earthquake lights, which are lights created by the Earth itself. Um, and you can look into more into those. It's really an eerie type kind of thing, something having to do with the magnetic force of the movement of Earth and science. So I didn't really dive into that. Let's see. So you got all those. A non-paranormal theory, but one I put forth is, hey, it's the mountains of North Carolina. It's dark. Historically, North Carolina is famous for one thing in the mountains, and it could be people making moonshine. It could be moonshine stills up in there. You know, the legend just kind of got out of control. So, further action in Western North Carolina. If you don't know, NC had Bigfoot sightings. Well, not only do we have them, we have a whole festival apparently. The Bigfoot Festival started a couple years ago, and so many people showed up, they literally overran the town near Marion, North Carolina. This year they had around 150 vendors. Well, that's a ton of people, and that's just selling. That's a really small town, so that was a lot to handle for them. But to the sightings, there have been multiple throughout the years, and have been more prevalent since 2010 actually. There is a really decent video from 2015. You can search that on your own time. They mainly happen in the western part of the state, in the wooded mountain regions like the Nantahala National Forest. On top of all this, North Carolina even has famous ghosts. Off the coast, I know I'm kind of moving a little fast. Trying to take these videos a little bit slower because I am starting to get more information into my podcast. So we're at 12 minutes. We're going to let this one go because like I said, I do have a lot in this state, especially. But on top of the Bigfoot sightings, which again, there's quite a few of them, and again, they're all Western North Carolina. The image that I have pulled up for the podcast is the Blue Ridge Parkway, so you can see there's just a little bit of room out there for something to be hiding. So there's plenty of space out there. On top of all this, North Carolina even has famous ghosts. Off the coast of Ocracoke Island is where the great Blackbeard ship was sunk and he was murdered. Edward Teach, or Blackbeard, was a notorious pirate from 1716 to 1718. Blackbeard was found with a few crewmen and his ship docked, and the local governor sent a ship commander to dispose of the pirate. Blackbeard was shot 5 times and stabbed no less than 20. His head was then chopped off to add further insult to injury, and the head was put on the front of the commander's ship. The headless body was dumped overboard and, according to the legend, swam around the boat 3 times looking for its head. I don't know about you, but that would absolutely terrify me. Now, Blackbeard is supposed to be terrifying already. He's known for lighting fuses in his beard, so his head would literally appear on fire or at least smoking in battle. I mean, that's a dude right there. Don't think I'd really mess with him too much. To this day, people actually still claim to see a light ghostly figure beneath the water, and they say it's Blackbeard still searching for his head. So I don't know if he's gonna have any luck finding it, because I need to look into it. That'd be pretty interesting to figure out what actually happened to the head and the skull. Where was that all buried? That'd be a pretty interesting story for another time. But so that's just some of the good stuff I found in North Carolina. There's also some other legends, like the Croatoan, and the what's the name? I can't remember the name of the island off the eastern coast where everyone went missing. It might be Roanoke. So there's bigger legends that I'll probably tackle in individual episodes, but those are just a few little, dipping your toes in the water of North Carolina and seeing what all's out there and learning just a little bit together. I learned some stuff. I didn't know Blackbeard swam around headless. Certainly didn't know that, but I do now. So I guess that's going to do it for today. Thank you again if you made it this far. Again, you have no idea how much it means. Greatly appreciated. Throw a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And check out the Facebook page. I'll try to get some more pictures up. and some more cool articles and that kind of stuff. So thanks a lot. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.